All right. So now that Anthony has joined us, let's get crack-a-lack, and we're streaming. Looks like we're good to go.
Oh yes, Darnell, what's going on, brother?
Not much. Just another day in paradise. It's really cold today, though. I'm not sure if the weather got the message. It's not supposed to be this cold in Florida.
I know, but it's okay because it's not as bad as everywhere else, right?
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, Anthony, let's get cracking. Please introduce yourself and the show, and we will also have Darnell introduce himself. Let's do it.
All right, sounds good, man. Anthony Angelillo, branch manager of Paramount Residential Mortgage Group over here in Miami Shores, co-host of the infamous series Damage Control, episode 37, and CEO founder of Tag Team Nation. It's crazy saying that. I was just actually talking about that with my marketing team, and we're kicking ass, man. So thank you so much for everyone following us. Co-host Damage Control, CEO founder of Tag Team Nation, top originator of Miami Agent Magazine, Scotsman Guide, top 1% originator, and continuing to progressively get better and better and better, like Michael Jordan, practice every single day. Very thankful to have Darnell on this episode. I'm looking forward to taking my notes. I got my notepad here, and this is gonna be exciting, man. So let's do it. Melinda?
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. As everyone's trickling in, if this is your first time, this is episode 37. Damage Control is a show about getting you either closer to the finish line when it comes to your deals, so troubleshooting your deals, making sure we control the damage, prevent the damage, and then also, of course, helping you with your sales and marketing, because that sometimes needs some damage control too, right? We need to make sure we keep our sales and marketing on point and productive throughout the weeks and the months, right? So myself, I'm a real estate and title attorney, and excited to have Darnell on today because he is a very impressive man, not only on the grill, but on the real estate floor, right? So we connected because he has a smoker and so do we, and the rest is history. So I asked him to be on the show because I see what he's doing and it's very impressive. And I thought that a lot of you can benefit from what he has to offer. A lot of agents want to build their referral network and don't really know how to get started. So we're just going to have a very awesome, natural kind of unwrapping of what he does right here live in front of you guys. And this way he can share some. But introduce yourself. What do you do? Who are you?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Melinda and Anthony, for inviting me to be on. So many other people you could have picked, and thank you for picking me for episode 37. Again, my name is Darnell Aponte. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. I do commercial and residential real estate. I am a Miami YPN top 20 under 40 realtor for 2020 last year.
Nice,
also
man.
the number one single agent in my office and top 100 with Keller Williams region of 7,000 agents.
Wow.
Oh shit! I didn't even know all those stats.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, man.
Very impressive.
I do real estate
I
full
just thought
time.
you were doing good business, but that's awesome. Good for
Yeah,
you.
that's all I do full time. A lot of people think I cook full time, but no, I sell real estate full time.
I love that. So, okay, let's get right into it. I know COVID might have changed it a little bit, right? In what you were doing. I know you were traveling to go and you were going to visit agents throughout, but you're kind of known for this really cool strategy. So why don't you just tell us like how it started, what gave you the idea, and like let's unravel this whole referral kind of traveling thing that you're doing.
It's different for sure. I mean, so I get a lot of my business from referrals, and whether it's agent to agent or, everyday people. And I took a class last year with Tony Giordano. He's a social agent, if anyone knows who he is. And what he said is so many agents just focus on just posting real estate stuff, all the time. And there's no other profession that does that. Like you don't see a heart surgeon saying, "Hey, I just performed an open heart surgery today." But agents always want to post stuff like that. So when they see that, they unfollow or they hide what you post. So you have to be yourself. That's really it. We live in like a a world of reality TV, and people always want to see what everyone else is doing, what's their life. So I realized I was getting a lot of business from Facebook, again, agents and regular people. And it all started with it just started as a joke like 2 years ago. I would just hashtag everything Darnell Eats. My friend just started doing that. So I'm like, let's keep it going. But people just started following me and commenting and engaging with me. And if they're engaging with my regular posts, then my real estate posts also show up higher. So it's kind of, I started figuring out, I can beat the algorithms and stay top of mind. So I don't always have to advertise that I am selling real estate, right? Especially like when I'm out to eat, having a bite before a quick showing or appointment. So, I sprinkle it in there, but not every post is real estate, just sold, just listed, this or that.
Right.
And so that's the biggest part of, my referral business, I think, just being myself, you just need to focus on being yourself and not just filling everyone's feed with, what you did for real estate, right? You have to be a person, you have to be likable to get business.
Yes,
that's really the
that's
number
like
one thing.
Critical. We spoke about this a bit last week too, about like, guys, don't just post your just sold, just listed. You got to show who you are. Figure out what you like to do.
Relatable.
Just talk about that, like, so people can relate to you. They like it. That's how we connected, right? That's how it was because of that, And so that's just a cool thing. And for me, it's I cook. I have my kids. I pimp out my kids on social because they're cute, and like everyone loves kids, puppies, right? So I love doing like kids. But that makes me relatable to other people with kids, right? Like they see that I'm not just out there working like crazy hours. I'm also trying to figure out how to make it happen with the family. I gave a story about how my home buying process and all that. Like, make yourself relatable to other people, because you don't want to attract necessarily people just in the real estate industry who might be paying attention to your numbers or your things or whatever, right? So I like that.
Sure.
How many posts are you doing a day on typical, Darnell? Like typical day, man?
I get that question asked a lot. They're like, what's your formula? What's your ratio? How many stories and posts? And to be honest with you, I don't have a set strategy for how much content I'm posting a day. It just depends on what I'm doing. There's some days where, I'm slam packed. I'm working with 3, 4, 5 different clients, and I can be anywhere from Miami to Fort Lauderdale or Palm Beach, commercial to residential. So it just really depends on the opportunity. It just depends what's going on that day. So there are days where I post once or twice. There are days where I post, 10 times.
Look at Melinda posting right now. Everyone, take out your
Thinking
cell
about
phones.
posting.
Let's do a post. The hell with it. I'm gonna do it too. Here we go. Story. Here we go.
Yeah.
Live DC episode 37. Everyone tag each other. I feel like we're on Clubhouse now. Tag each other. Everyone follow.
Yeah. It's so good, because you got to find ways to just document your day and make it interesting, right? So, and kind of the beauty of tagging and things is you really spread your reach, and it's a great, like, for me, I love being tagged because it's like one less thing I got to think about, like posting, right? It's an easy, quick share. So yesterday we were out for dinner, and someone's like, I'm going to go outside and do the sunset. I'm like, tag me so I don't have to go outside and take a picture. It makes it so much easier, right? Megan, I think she was coming on today, actually. So if you're on there, thank you for sharing your content with me. Yeah, there she is. She is here. She goes, that was me. Awesome. Thanks, Megan, for sharing. So someone asked, what if you don't do much outside of work?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say who that is. First of all, I'm going to say, get yourself a hobby, right? But you actually do stuff outside of work. Very specifically, I'll tell you, you're a mom. You're a part of Women's Council. You're what else? I mean, definitely you have those two things you can work with, right? So like, think about it. There's actually a lot of things that you're probably doing. You just gotta like expose it and use it a little bit more, right? What do you guys think?
Without a doubt, it could come with traveling. If someone, because I see someone on here that travels a lot. So everyone that is travel, and obviously hashtags, and you're going to have that exposure as the travel and real estate agent. Whatever is your hobby, like Melinda said. I mean, I like running, so I'm always doing posts on running. And I feel like there's a lot of runners that obviously need a house, right? So it cross-pollinates into each other. And that's what Darnell's talking about is, Darnell Eats, which is badass, by the way. That
I know, I love it.
I do love it, man. I really, like, 'cause I'm a foodie and I love it.
Coming
I love
from
it,
the two foodies that like,
I could be on there all day watching what you're eating. But
it's great. It literally started as a joke, but then people started, tagging me in random things. And that's when I thought, like, maybe I should do this, like Darnell bikes, Darnell this or that. And I just get random tags on stuff every day on posts. So, I mean,
I love it. Love it. I know another agent that has like, she's big with rescues and like brings that into her marketing. Like whatever is your passion, whatever is something that you're into, it can be, and it doesn't have to be such like a big grand thing, right? It could just be what you're doing. If you're juicing, if you're into health stuff, post that, because there's a lot of people who are into that. If you're, whatever it is, anyways, find your things and talk about it.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many people are interested in your thing.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, okay, how much can they really be interested in my food? So I find myself half the time sending just to Anthony, look at this, look what I'm making, look what I'm doing, because otherwise, like, maybe it's too much. I don't know, but.
I don't think it's too much. Man, I had one guy.
No?
One guy said it's all pictures of running in food, and Tony Robbins wouldn't do that. And I told Melinda this. I'm like, listen, to be in the sentence of Tony Robbins, cool, man. You're going to have haters out there. It's all good, but it's part of the industry, Don't let it get you down, and just keep going. Darnell Eats, I love it. I don't think anyone's going to get sick and tired of food. It's a happy place for everyone, right? So.
For sure.
Yes. Okay, so now you've built your following around that. You've grown, whether it's a referral network, but I know you've done other things and building out and having like these pop-up like meetups. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, so I like to travel, especially during the pandemic. So there was like 10 out of 13 weekends that I was out in another city or in another state from like August to October. And I just like got fed up. I'm like, I have to go somewhere. So I went domestic. Flights were cheap, and pretty much every city I went to, I have friends there. So I'm a part of, Keller Williams Young Professionals Network, and I'm a part of another Young Professionals Network. So anytime I go to a city, I plan it. I'm like, hey guys, I'm coming in 2 weeks. I'm coming next week. Who wants to get together for a masterminding lunch or a masterminding dinner? And I also like to teach in an office. There weren't many teaching opportunities in person because of COVID, but that was it. So anytime I went to a new city, I would have, 10 to 20 people that would show up to have a meal with me and to mastermind on our business and what can we do to grow our business. So I
freaking love that.
So those are like people that love me and great referral partners and all these cities that I've gone to for the past, couple of months.
So you got your own personal tour guide, man.
Yeah, so
that's really
what's a great place to eat at? Who wants to go? Who wants to mastermind? Let's.
But that's amazing. That's an amazing concept. You know why? Because it's taking the relationships outside of this camera, digital, social media world and pulling it out and having a face-to-face. And that face-to-face is really what starts to build the rapport. Then you take it back online and you continue to grow on that you've done in person. And it's amazing. And those people, they followed you already, right? Because you posted about it on social.
Well, most of them did. Or if they didn't, if I posted in, various Facebook real estate groups, right? Maybe that person wasn't available or they knew someone in that city and they knew there would be value of, getting together with me, go pick his brain or, let's share ideas with him. So I would get tags from people that I haven't met. And
what was one of the best posts that you had the best ROI on?
Honestly, anything that I put with my dogs, it gets a lot of
people love dogs and puppies, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Puppies,
dogs, puppies, and kids.
I'm telling you.
I don't have dogs, so I gotta use my
just interesting or really weird combinations. Like I was in Fresh Market a couple months ago and I saw guacamole cheese. I'm like, who would eat guacamole cheese? And I posted it and I had so many people comment and say they would or they wouldn't, or I'd try it on nachos or I would do this or that, So when I see interesting stuff like that, I was in Publix the other day and I saw, I think salsa or pico de gallo made with pickles instead of tomatoes. I dislike pickles a lot, so I thought it was gross. So I posted it, and same thing, you know. So I just want people to engage, and whether it's comment, like, or share, because, you know, the more interaction you get on your posts, then, you know, the higher you're going to appear in people's news feeds and timelines, right?
Yeah,
So
without a
that's
doubt.
always my goal. So anything
So-
that gets interaction, I like to ask
And
questions.
Anthony, that reminds me of the avocado story that we did that one time. You'd be surprised, like talking about the perfect avocado and sharing a picture of like one with no blemishes or anything. It got so much engagement. I'm like,
Dude, I did a
it
food
was
off.
unbelievable.
We did a Bobby Flay food off, my processor and I, with guacamole dip, and that got tons of hits. People relate to it, man. I mean, it's something that everyone's eating, everyone's relatable when in terms to, you know, food, and yeah, Melinda, that got a lot of action, and the perfect guacamole and how it says no blemishes whatsoever. That's funny, man. All right,
The perfect avocado.
back on
So
topic.
what do you do? So let's go back to the meetings, because I have more. I want to unwrap. So you shout people out. You put it on your feed. You go into some real estate chats. So people come. You meet them at this restaurant for lunch or dinner. You mastermind. You have like an agenda, or do people just go around the room and talk about like what they're doing? How do you?
So at the beginning of the meeting, so I ask everyone, and I go around the table, ask them to introduce themselves, and I ask, okay, so what is something that you're struggling in your business right now? You know, what could you improve on? And it's always the same three things every single time.
What are
It's
those
lead
three-
generation,
What are those three things?
time management, and lead follow-up usually. Usually those three things.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
And so
I allow
then do you
everyone
give
to
the
say what it
tips
is.
yourself?
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, give them my tips, and then, you know, it's more of a conversation, you know. So there's some things that I'm great at and not so great at, you know. So I could probably do better on time management for sure. But there's guaranteed to be someone that excels in time management in this group of 10 to 15 people. So, you know, there's always going to be someone that has a strength in something and a weakness in something else. So everyone just bounces ideas off each other, and, you know, ideally we like to hold each other accountable. I always end the meetings too, you know, what is your biggest takeaway today? And what's the first thing you guys are going to implement? And I like to follow up with those people after, you know, it's part of, you know, growing and, you know, keeping the relationship. So it's really,
So I was
you-
going to ask you, what's your follow-up after? So is that what you
Exactly.
do? You take notes
What's
as
your
to what their
follow-up
next step
after?
is?
so, I mean, it's usually pretty casual. It just depends on, you know, what they say. I mean, again, it's really always the same three things. So you just write it down and, you know, reach out to them, you know, periodically, you know, how's everything going? You know, how's your time management going? Are you time blocking? You know, what do you need to do? We all know what we need to do. You know, we just don't do it, you know, so what are you going to do to implement that? So I do that for a couple of weeks, usually see where everyone's at. And anytime I go on one of these trips, my production goes up because, you know, I get really, really excited again. I'm like, let's do it. These are great ideas. And it's just beneficial to everyone.
Darnell, you're following up how many weeks? What, 4 weeks afterwards? And what's the accountability? How are you holding them accountable?
Yeah, so this is always a question I get too. So I don't have a system. You know, it's just I reach out to people periodically. It's not necessarily weekly or monthly. You know, it's just honestly when I have time. I should put it in my calendar, do it weekly. You know, spend 1 or 2 hours a week doing this. But most of my business is Facebook, and that's where I maintain most of my relationships and even, you know, messaging. So it's just when someone pops on my timeline, or when they tag me in something, or I see something they see something I post, and I just reach out to them, you know, see how everything's going. How are you doing with that goal you mentioned? I know you said you wanted to sell 20 homes this year. You know, you should have 2 done, 3 done by now. You know, how's that going? We're, you know, first week of February. So there's no set system. I definitely need to implement that and put everyone that I meet into my CRM. That'd be a great idea, right? Definitely could use some more improvement there. See?
You know what you
So
could
we
do?
have
Yeah, go ahead. There's a question.
so we have a good question in the chat. It's a very good question. It says, Darnell, do you have a coach?
I don't have a coach. I do not have a coach.
Have you ever done coaching?
I did coaching in my office last year for a few months. It was definitely great.
Okay.
I definitely want to hire a coach, and I'm going to probably hire one next month. I'm going to an event in Orlando with Jeff Glover. And last year I hired a group coach, and that definitely improved my business. And this year I think I'm ready to take the plunge and hire a one-on-one coach.
Any mentors?
Awesome.
Any mentors, or what drives you? Like, what's your motivation?
I guess I could say I have lots of mentors. There's lots of agents that, that always give me advice. I call, one of them is local. It's the reason I'm in real estate. My good friend, Tara Carter. I have a commercial real estate mentor as well. He's local. He's one of the top, like #1 commercial realtor in 2017 or 18 in Florida. He's a mentor of mine, Richard Gerber. So always have people across the country that I can call, they chat with, they'll give me their time. Christina Griffin in Tampa. There's lots of people. That's just part of our industry, I feel like, or at least our company, Keller Williams, where everyone helps everyone. So I can literally call anyone and they'll pick up their phone and they'll spend time with me and answer my questions.
Just
So
got
I
a
don't
guy
have
calling
one.
today. Anyone in Cape Coral? Got a
Cape
guy
Coral.
called me today, VA, looking for a home in Cape Coral.
Cape Coral, that would probably be my friend Tyler Mattingly. He is on the #1 team in Bonita Springs, Cape Coral area. I have a few friends over there. Stephanie Ross.
Awesome, man. There you go.
Hook up with him later and get that going. So what do you have? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Another thing that I do to grow my referral business is, I think this is a crucial step too, is that, I like to network a lot, and particularly on Facebook as well. And I like to, provide value and, to others. My goal is to always receive referrals, but I need to send out at least 5 referrals to receive 1. So I'm always trying to add value to other people's lives. And how do I do that is, connecting 2 people that I know could work well together. Or if I have a friend in one state and I see they're looking for a referral partner and I know someone in that state that can service them, I'll connect them in a message. And I'll go beyond tagging them in a post. I'll try to get them on the phone.
Right,
I'll put them in a group text message, a group Facebook message. And even if it's someone local, looking for a plumber, looking for a real estate attorney, looking for a lender, whatever it is. So I always just try to be that contact person for everything.
I love that, man.
That
So every
is
5
how I
is
grew my
1?
business.
You're the queen of it.
It's about 5 to 1. So it's just a numbers game. So the more you give, the more you're going to receive. And that's pretty much anywhere in life, I believe. So the more people that I can help, the more people that want to help me.
Yeah, definitely. I know someone who just opened an insurance agency on her own and took the plunge. So Anthony, I'm going to be hooking you up with her, because I said, well, I know some lenders who are going to send you some business. So look out for that intro. But that's so important, because sometimes you can't always give that direct referral. Like, I don't need my plumber, but my clients do, right? So, and one day when that plumber has somebody, they'll think of you. They're like, this person supports me all the time. This is how, you get that. That's how you build relationships. You support people, whether it's a shout out, whether it's a referral, whether it's an introduction, whether it's a collaboration. There's so many great ways. So, okay, so there's a couple questions that came in here into the panel chat. So let's go through them. We asked about the coach. Yeah, some good questions here. So do you have any big things you're planning on for the next year, for this new year from last year, that you plan on either implementing or growing in terms of your goals?
Well, I am in the process of searching for a full-time assistant. I have a transaction coordinator right now, but I know an assistant's going to take me to the next level. And I've just been hesitant on hiring one for the past year. It's been hard to let go, because I had a bad hire 2 years ago. So I'm still frightened by that. But with all the systems and models that we have in place, then it'll be fine. Now that I have some more structure.
Well, let's circle back offline about that, because I have ways to hack hiring and delegating that I think help you. So we'll talk about that.
That's a whole different topic.
That's a whole other show. That's a whole other show, right? But that's a big move. And so with the addition of an assistant, have you done your math to see how many more deals, how many deals you need to keep an assistant, and how many deals you hope to like achieve with the new extra pairs of hands on deck?
I really only need an extra 6 to 8 deals a year, depending on the size. It's really not that many. And I should be able to do at least another 30 units a year. Right now I did
Awesome.
just under 60 units last year. So my goal is 100
That's
this year.
amazing.
God bless, bro. That's awesome, man. Holy shit.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Or 20
Good
million.
for you. Yeah. So I mean, you know, it's like units or gross dollars, right? So what are the first things you're going to outsource to your assistant once you hire them? Have you thought about that yet?
Yeah, everything. I just want to get the property under contract, and that's it. You do everything else. Definitely that. Writing contracts, especially right now, where you have to write so many contracts when you're representing buyers. And if you're out showing, it's hard to be able to write these contracts. It's not uncommon for me to write 2 or 3 offers in one day for one buyer right now. And that takes a lot of time that I could be lead generating, building relationships, spending time with my dogs.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's it. Like contracts and dealing with emails and all that fun stuff. Take over my marketing, just everything. I just want to
emails are like the biggest time suckers of all, right? Yeah,
I can't stand them
for sure. I love that. There's nothing like you have to let go to be able to grow, and that's one of the emails and the offer writing are 2 great things definitely to get started right off the bat. Okay, so more questions here.
Yeah, the Beth question. Go to that one.
So,
which one? Oh, Beth.
Are there any ways to beat the Facebook algorithm?
Yeah, are you paying to paid ads? That was one of my questions too. Are you just posting? Okay.
I don't do paid ads, and unless you're gonna do paid ads on a business page, I don't see a whole ton of value in it, because Facebook wants you to pay. Otherwise, they're not going to show your business post. They're not going to really rank. So I just do everything from my personal page, and I also share a lot on my business page, or vice versa. I'll post on my business page and then share it on my personal page, because that's where you're going to really get the views and the engagement is on your personal page.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
For sure. Without a doubt. You want to still have presence on a business page, because if someone looks you up, they see you there, but really the engagement is there. So I just had a little powwow with my marketing team right before this to talk about Facebook. And that was basically about making sure we always tie my personal in, because that's where I have all the connections. The business page, is there for, reviews and a few things like that, and like hosting the events that we do. So definitely maximizing your personal side is the way to go. And it's the cheap way to go, right?
Yep. Another thing that I know that really helps, disrupt the Facebook algorithm is Facebook Live. I don't think there's anything else you can do that's going to give you as high of ranking than a Facebook Live, because what happens when someone goes live, right? Your entire friends list gets the notification. Melinda Grimaldi went live. Anthony is now live. And even though they may not be watching it live, because they know that you can see them watching it live, if you go back later on in the day or the next day, you'll see you have hundreds or sometimes thousands of views on these things. So that's the number one thing. Then videos, then photos, and then just, text. The text post is going to be the lowest ranking post you can do on Facebook. So I always try to do at least, 2 or 3 lives per week, whether it's at a property.
I was going to ask you. 2 or 3 lives, that's what you're doing, Darnell?
Yeah, I mean, there's some days where I go live 3 or 4 different times, especially if I'm showing like great properties that day, property on the beach. I want to go live a couple of times, especially right now when it's snowing everywhere else, because they're going to be watching.
Yes.
And anytime I go live, every time I go live, I generate at least 1 lead, someone from, especially when I'm on Miami Beach or Fort Lauderdale Beach, I always get someone in another state, and even though they may be a year or 2 away from being able to make a decision, my goal is to meet with them as soon as possible, because I have a 70% chance they're going to use me just by being the first agent that they speak to. So I have no problem speaking to someone when they're not ready right now.
Nice.
And you're just building your pipeline, right? That's just your long game, and it's just you'll reap the benefits, with that. And that's such a good strategy. And, I tell agents when we talk about this, like long game is important, short game is important. You need to balance both because you need to fill your pipeline, and you also need to get paid, in the coming months, right? So long game is important for sure, because we can't forget about what happens next, right? We get stuck in the deals and then you forget about what happens next, and then your pipeline dries up. So
I want to say something back to what you were saying earlier about your post and being tagged, Melinda. Anytime I go out, anytime I'm anywhere and I do a post, I always like to tag the establishment. I like to check in and also tag them, because you'd be surprised the number of times that they share your post, and now you're being exposed to, a whole new market, and
they're following. For sure. We did that. I did this weekend. My son was like, we went to Sugarcane in Midtown, and he was obsessed with the waffles, and he was eating the waffles with this I don't know. My husband starts filming him. I'm like, oh, send me that. I'm going to tag Sugarcane. And lo and behold, it was such a cute video, and they reposted it, So it just exposes the reach. And you may not get a ton of followers just from one, but eventually with time, it starts to build up. And it's always giving back to the community, especially the smaller little businesses. If you can shout them out, it's a great way to give back and support other people. It's like a small way to support somebody else, but it goes a long way for them, So, okay, do you have anything else you want to add? Because we have a ton of questions. So I'm going to keep going.
You can answer some questions.
How to find a referral partner in another area if you don't know anyone in that specific area, and make sure it's someone good.
Okay.
So how do you know?
That's going to be difficult.
Well, I have a lot of benefits of being with Keller Williams. We have such a huge referral network, but even when I can't find someone in our internal network, I'll go to different Facebook groups, so I'll go to Lab Coat Agents, which is the #1 Facebook group. But there's a ton of other groups as well. So I'm involved in a lot of different organizations. So there's a national young professionals group. There's Keller Williams young professionals. There's, the NAREP groups. There's the Women's Council of Realtors group. So it depends on what you're involved in. I'm in a luxury referral group, commercial referral group. So depending on the type of client, type of deal, I'll go to that group and say, hey, I'm looking for, an agent in ABC City, and this is what I'm looking for. And then others will tag them, or they'll message you, and then you just interview them. I don't like to give the referrals to just the person that's tagged the most or the first person to contact me, because, it's your relationship on the line too. So pick up the phone when those people are tagged and reach out to them and talk to the agent, and use your gut almost, to determine if they're going to be
spidey senses.
The statistics say, though, that a referral is more than likely going to be higher in terms of the value, meaning, to answer Michelle's question, how do you know? It's your reputation. Is it going to be, someone that doesn't do a good job? That referral, that person putting their name out is putting their name out for a reason. Like Melinda, she refers good people, and she's done business with those people. So the validation's there, and that's important. So it's interesting how you do that, man. I like that. I definitely should do that for recruits too.
Yeah, now I have such a large network that, pretty much anywhere that I'm looking, I'm going to know someone there, or I'm going to have someone that I really trust recommend someone. And I'm still going to interview them, but, I may not drill them as hard as someone that's completely random, just because someone else.
Yeah, for sure.
Put their name on the line.
So when you first started this referral kind of stuff that you were doing, or focusing on it, because we always do it, but focusing on agents throughout the country, were you looking for collecting them before you needed them, or were you collecting them as you needed them? You would reach out out of curiosity for someone who wants to get started.
We're not going to send too many referrals out, but again, like I said earlier, I like to connect people. So even if I'm no way involved in the transaction, it could be a New York agent looking for a Colorado agent. Well, I know a New York and a Colorado agent. Let's put them together. So now I have two people that value me, and they want to try to repay me, so they'll tag me and reach out to me in those other opportunities in Florida, even though the referral may not be from them, but same thing. They might know the agent looking for another agent in Florida, or a family member. That happens a lot, especially being in South Florida. We're such a huge second home vacation market.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of referrals from even realtors themselves that want to buy a vacation home here, an Airbnb, second home, whatever the
Yeah,
case.
for sure.
I have a family member looking to
That's
move to Florida.
so good.
That's the unique thing about our market as well. So we receive way more referrals than we send out, I believe. Everyone wants to be in warm weather, especially this time of year.
How many referrals, Darnell? Give or take. How many do you send out annually?
I try. My goal is to send out at least 5 a day, or connect at least 5 people a day. So I can. That's
That is
mostly
so
my
on
lead
point.
generation.
Wow,
I'm not a cold caller. I don't. That's not my style. I would just rather connect people and help people.
I love that,
Honestly,
man.
that
I
is
like
so
that.
awesome. I love that. I grew my business that way, kind of unintentionally. And I'm always like, people will call me, do you know someone? I knew you were going to know someone like this. Like, and even if I don't know, I'll find you somebody, right? Then I'll go into my network and find and try to, build that. And so that's a really thing. But I haven't really done it so intentionally, but I love that idea. And I think I'm going to start implementing that. Is like, okay, who can I connect today? What can I help? Like looking for those questions online, or reaching out and saying, what are you working on these days? Oh, I know a guy. That's my line. I know a guy, right? Or a girl. So I really love that. And so thank you for that. Cause I'm going to start implementing that a little bit more. I think you should too, Anthony. Now that we're getting our teams in order,
notes,
right?
man. I'm taking notes. Good notes, man. Keep going, brother. Keep going.
Yeah.
What else is there?
So the group post, is there a specific post that you do? Like when I mean the verbiage, or you just simply ask in the group, I'm an rep, hey, looking for XYZ and an ABC location?
Yeah, that's basically it. When I see agents, I don't know if you're a part of any of those groups, Anthony.
Yeah.
There's always tons of referrals being shared. And again, it's not just agent to agent. It's just, just your regular network from across the country, friends, family, old coworkers, people that just follow you because you look interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. And with regards to organizations, I know you just got more involved with me on the board with Women's Council. We're all three of us invested in now Women's Council this year. That's a great opportunity to build a referral network and just reach out and say, hey, I'm Women's Council in Florida. If ever you need anything, let's jump on a quick Zoom. I'd like to learn about you. This way I could add you to my list for my Colorado referrals, and just start building a rapport that way, even if you have none to give at this moment, or don't know where to start, is like finding people that you have that similar association with.
One thing that I did 2 years ago, actually, you just reminded me of, I had a spreadsheet with the 200 biggest cities in the country, and I filled in the blanks where I had people at, and some cities had multiple. I had 4 or 5 agents that I felt comfortable referring, and then anywhere there was a blank, I would go and try to find an agent in that area. So you can go search for old posts, who was looking for an agent in that area, or just put a post, who's in this area, and connect with someone. And I don't have a referral now, but I just wanted to know who's in this area in case and when I do have a referral. Just always just building relationships.
I love that.
And then of course they're going to ask you where you work. Well, I'm in South Florida, so if you know someone, send them away. It's unlikely for me to send you to Arkansas.
Yeah. But you'd be surprised how it's almost like, but if you say, listen, I'm going to put you on my list, you're my go-to now, after you vet them, and you tell them that, they're going to be like, oh shit, like, let me put this person on my list too, and then it's not going to be right now, but the more you have of those, the more relationships, the more ability you have to, opportunities for that, right? So I have something that we have in our office called Team 100, and it has all the different, it's not just realtors, it's who do I know in legal, in like the plumber, the cleaner, the inspector, all the people that people call me for, the CPAs, the forensics, I have like 5 or 6 CPAs because they all have their own specialties. And with FERPTA, it's its own niche, right? So I have my FERPTA account, and I have my divorce account, and I have all these different things. So we keep building out that list, and it's something that last year I kind of ignored, like focusing on it just because we were so busy. But now that's something that between the 2 to the 5 referrals and the my Team 100, it's a great opportunity to to focus on that. And that's something that I'm going to focus on this quarter for sure. So thank you for that. And if you don't have that as an agent, not just national referrals, but also who can you refer your clients to? If you have some downtime, that's what you should be building out, the things that people call you for. Because when you call your clients, your past clients, your relationships to check in on them, what are you up to these days? Oh, actually, I'm looking, I'm shopping around for this, or I'm looking to add an addition, or I'm like, my pool guy just left and my pool's all green, whatever, There's like always something that comes up in conversation. You know what? I have a guy for that. Do you want their information? And the client's going to be happy, or your contact's going to be happy. The person you refer is going to be happy. You're going to be a resource. You keep sharing. And like you said, Darnell, the more you share, the more you will receive. That giver's gain mentality.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because in November, a friend of mine, an agent in my office, started a script practice group and an accountability group. We did a 66-day challenge. We had like 100+ people sign up from all across the country. And I mean, it ended up being about like 10, 12 people at the end of it. But every morning we would, script practice for half an hour, and then we would lead generate for 3 hours with our cameras on, but on mute on Zoom, to make sure we were all lead generating. And the number one script that we would use was, we're just following up with our clients. And we want to know, have you had any exceptional experiences with any vendors lately? I'm trying to grow my vendor list. Who do you know that you would like to see receive more business? And pretty much everyone would give you someone, a plumber, a landscaper, or whatnot. And I'm just calling to check up and to grow my vendor list to help other clients. But of course, real estate's going to come up every time, 9 out of 10 times, So I'll let them bring it up. So that way I'm not calling them just to get their business,
So they're asking you, right? What do you do, Darnell? And then you go in your...
These are mostly people that I know already, past clients, people in my sphere. I'm just calling to see, have you had a great experience with a vendor, any type of vendor that you would like to see receive more business, because they did such a great job. And it gets them to think. Most of the time they will give you someone, even if it's, a dog groomer, the landscaper, the car detail guy, a plumber, because they just had an issue with the AC guy, their relative, whatever it is. So they'll refer you to someone. Now you get another contact. And so that's the most lead generation that I do, that calling that I do per se, is calling to grow my vendors list.
I love that. Anthony, do you do anything with like these types of vendors? Have you ever implemented anything like that in your business?
So what's funny is that this morning, that gentleman, the veteran, he called in. He hit on our landing page and a squeeze page that I have, and I didn't know. He didn't even give me his name, his number, and he just went into his basically what he wanted. And he thought I was a real estate agent. And I said, look, I know many agents in the local market. I'd be more than honored to help you out. So what you're saying is how we operate, because we generate so many leads that come in, and we're trying to cipher them out and distribute to agents and whatnot. It's difficult though. That takes time to build out a team for that. But the point is the value proposition on the vendors that and the agents in my case, because I'm doing the lending portion of it. That's the reciprocation, the law of reciprocity, that you're going to receive something and not have that person expect it. I like the fact that you mentioned that you're calling them, truly asking for vendors, and then they're going to say, well, who the hell are you, Darnell? What do you do? And then you're going into, your pitch, and hey, good, we know XYZ that's, looking to sell or list his home. And that's where you build really a good rapport. But that's awesome how you do that. Our scripts are based on that too, because we generate a lot of foreclosure homes. Now, there's not too many out there, but people are looking for a good deal, quote unquote. And then we pivot into, we know XYZ in the market. And that's the value proposition for that consumer. So then the consumer's saying, wow, he's got value for me. I need someone. My agent's not working. It's not, we're not finding the right house, blah, blah, blah. So I like that, man. That's a great idea, calling on vendors. And you're giving me really, really good ideas, man. Really good ideas.
One thing in my coaching program that I was in a few years ago, that, if you don't have any more leads to follow up on, et cetera, You just call past clients, referral sources, people in your sphere, and it's called a gas call, and it stands for give a shit. So you've probably heard me, if you've been on our shows before, talk about the gas calls. I didn't create it. It was like the coaching program that I was in, but just call people, give a shit. Hey, what's going on? Just want to check on you. How's the new place? Oh yeah, I just did. But a way you could, turn that over is, oh, we just redid our pool. Oh yeah, who'd you use? How was the experience? Did you like how they service? Yeah, they were great. Can I have their information? Because of that. Yeah, what are you working on next? Oh, our next project is this. Oh, who are you using for that? I'm not sure yet. Oh, I know a guy, right? And it's a way to build your list, give your share your vendors, people support the businesses that and that's really kind of it's especially nowadays, people are so appreciative of the support because of everything that's happening and how business is like kind of weird here and there. In real estate, we're like slammed, but the periphery outside of that, there's some areas that they really didn't, like the restaurants and the salons and things like that. They took a hit, right? And so being able to support them is definitely a great way to give back and support and givers gain. So there's a lot of really good feedback. Darnell put his email and his Facebook there, so follow him. One of the ways that I grew my social media skills is by emulating other people that did it really well. So obviously you're going to do it your own way, but see how people who are excelling in their business, how are they carrying themselves on social media? How are they posting? What are they talking about? What are they doing? And then you can learn from that and try to kind of emulate it in your own way. Obviously don't copy, but it doesn't have to be in the real estate industry. It could be anyone, right? Just how are they doing it, and see what you like and see what their frequency is, and see, how they are. I will say, if you're trying to grow your relationships, it happens in the DMs, right? So find a way to elicit that conversation. On Instagram, it's definitely in the stories. That's how you start to have the chit-chatting going on. On Facebook, there's the DMs as well there too. So find a way to take the relationships outside of just the post, the like, the follow. So Darnell, any final thoughts you want to share with anyone?
Kind of, to piggyback on what you just said, take it out of the comments and whatnot in posts. And so I also like to message a few people a day on Facebook just to see how they're doing, how everything's going, and ask them if they know anyone that's looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, and if not, will you keep me in mind? So that's when I really have a lot of downtime. There's not anything going on. Like what can I do? How can I be productive, and not just scroll?
So speaking of like, okay, now what you do. So I'd like to know, like, on the bare minimum, your non-negotiables. You're doing 2 to 3 lives a week. You said you're trying to make 5 referral or intros a day, and then you try to do a few DM message check-ins a day. What else are your non-negotiables?
I'm just always meeting people. I'm always networking and growing my network. That's always my goal. My goal is every day to talk to people. That's it. Just talk to more people. However many people I think I need to talk to, I just always try to talk to more. I don't have a set number. I just, how do I feel? Did I make any connections today? Did I build relationships? Did I add at least one person to my database? If I didn't add at least one person to the database, then I feel like I didn't do anything that day, whether that's from Facebook or Instagram, a referral, whatever it is. My goal is to add one contact per day.
You're striking every nerve, man. I mean, honest to God, I just had this conversation with my team. I'm like, just do 10 calls a day because I want 100. Like, let's go. But you can't tell someone how to make 100 calls a day. I mean, maybe I can do that because I'm just like rampage, but at the end of the day, it's hard. It gets taxing on someone to make those calls. So it's nice to see that you're doing 5. And you know what? 5 a day, man, for 2 years, your database is going to be massive at that point. And those are good, sound foundations. So it's cool that you're saying all this stuff, man. You're really striking a nerve. This is good stuff.
One more thing is that anytime you do a post as well, especially a business post, you need to make sure you ask for the business, So, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest, or build wealth in real estate? And when I'm working commercial real estate, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or lease? Who do you know that's looking to, expand or downsize their business right now? And, for example, in December, maybe six weeks ago, I met someone. It was random referral. I asked for the business on a commercial post. I was touring a property, and they're like, "Hey, you do commercial? Can you help my husband out?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And we closed this week. It was a 2-week closing. We saw 3 properties, and it was all Facebook deal. It was a $2.1 million deal, just from Facebook. So I get deals like that all the time, just because they see, that I'm active, I'm actually doing things, and I ask for the business. Most importantly, so don't just post. Whatever industry you're in, you have to ask for the business. Tell them what you want.
That's so true. That's so true.
Here after tomorrow, we're going to be sharing content. Any scripts that because you're mentioning scripts and you're mentioning a couple things.
So you're doing what tomorrow? I'm sorry.
We're going to be sending out content. So any scripts
and the recording for the show. So after every show, we send the recording for the show. And if there's any goodies or things that you can share, you mentioned you have some scripts where you called like little nuggets. You got a good little nugget for us to share with our viewers, our audience?
I can share the vendor script. That's probably my favorite. And I got that from my coworker, Alexa Rosario. She is like a beast and all these things and systematizing stuff. And so I'll share that with you guys so you can share it with everyone. I
love that. I think that everyone would really appreciate that. I'm actually curious to see what's on there.
It's literally a simple script. It's a vendor script. Do you know anyone? And then after that, whether they know someone or not, thank you for taking the time to think about it. And then you just go into the Ford script, family, occupation, and recreation, dreams, and go from there and just have a casual conversation. And 9 out of 10 times they're gonna, ask you questions.
Without a doubt. Dude, that's awesome. I love it.
I love that.
It's simple. It's so simple. I feel like in real estate and mortgage, we like to complicate things and look for, the shiny new lead source and what's the script that's going to convert. And we try to get so complex. It's just so simple. It's really simple.
And just bringing it back to basics is like checking in on someone, how you doing, building relationships. And unless you maximize those free, like really not even tools, just opportunities, like to go and spend money, like where use the free opportunities you have first.
Yeah, I was one of those agents that used to spend money. I used to advertise on Zillow years ago. I had a great ROI, unlike most agents, but it was just so costly, And I'm like, I can generate just the same amount of leads and not have to pay for them. Just do it all organically. And then that's what I just started doing.
Darnell eats, baby.
I love it. Yes.
Ready when you are. Darnell does not run though.
Ready when you are. I'm always posting stuff with Melinda. Look at this.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Darnell. We're wrapping up our hour. If you didn't catch it on Zoom, I'll put the link also in the Facebook if you're watching there. If you want to reach out to Darnell and introduce yourself, and if you have questions for him, he's been graciously opened that up for you guys. So thank you so much, Darnell. Thank you, Anthony, for another great show. And look out for the replay if you didn't catch this live. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us. We're here for you, and that's our wrap.
Thank you,
guys. Thanks, Darnell. Thank you, man.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, guys.
See you later. Bye.